Hi, my name is Rosaline of Journey into Wellness. Welcome to today's presentation, Freedom from Trauma. 5 steps to freeing yourself from the memory, pain, and hurt caused by it. For most of us, it may seem like letting go of trauma is impossible. However, what I'm about to share will surprise you and give you hope. So I know that most people start their webinars with stories, jokes, and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to just dive right into the good and light, some of the dark and heavy, and the totally new and exciting. You will discover how you can free yourself from the trauma that's been holding you hostage. The truth is, you don't have to live with the emotions and feelings from the trauma forever, or be reminded of it. Let us show you the way to render your trauma as unimportant, but no longer noteworthy. This is the biggest gift you will ever give yourself. People report that they're feeling love and acceptance again. They're experiencing a healthier relationship. They're saying it's the first time they felt comfortable in themselves. That they don't think about the trauma anymore, and that they've become much happier. They no longer have anger outbursts. Many say they have better emotional control. They are able to wake up smiling and are enjoying life. These are the biggest gifts you will ever give yourself. So, let's talk about who this is for. It's actually for anyone who has been wounded, damaged, or broken and wishes to heal from a specific trauma. Some of these traumas may have led you into addiction, depression, struggling with anxiety, anger, and many other symptoms. You've gone from enjoying your life to existing, watching your back, feeling uncomfortable around others, perhaps struggling in relationships and in life itself. You are now questioning yourself and others because you're not feeling safe, you're feeling unlovable, or you're thinking you aren't good enough or unworthy. If you want to be totally free, this is for you. If this is something you've struggled with and something you want to let go of, I want you to pay very close attention because this is going to be the best 37 minutes you've ever spent learning about trauma and how to heal from it. So here's what you're going to learn and what we're going to cover in about the next 30-some minutes. We're going to talk about how you are going to work through the trauma online without talking about it or being triggered into the trauma, the pain, or the hurt of it. We're going to talk about how to go from struggling, questioning, and existing in life to living and enjoying life once again. And yes, how to take back your life and no longer be controlled by your reactions or emotions from the trauma. And if you've been through talk therapy and tried other ways of healing your trauma and still nothing has worked or things have gotten worse, this is for you. Plus, in the next 30-some minutes, we're going to talk about how to release the emotions attached to the nightmares and flashbacks that may be haunting you from your trauma, so you can begin enjoying life again. How to recognize the beliefs you've created that hold you hostage and control you, to adding new and honoring ones. And lastly, how to stop repeating the patterns so that you can create the relationship and life you've only dreamed of. So what can you expect? Well, my clients' results are actually typical. Yeah, that's right. The people you're going to hear about are ordinary people. They've struggled with a specific trauma or hurt and have released the energy connected to the memory so that it no longer haunts them. I want you to remember that. It no longer haunts you. It no longer bothers you, and you no longer dwell on the incident or its outcome. It's true. My clients wanted it more than anything. They overcame their challenges and they got the results that I'm going to share with you. Your success depends only on your desire to heal. So here's my promise to you. I'm going to share a step-by-step strategy so you will never feel the horrible intensity of your specific trauma again. I want to invite you to expand your awareness and know that you can be free from your trauma once and for all. So let's begin. First, I want to check in and see where you're at. So does this sound like you? Are you secretly struggling with anxiety, depression, or addictive behaviors, possibly because of your hurt or your trauma? Over the years, I've come to understand that trauma is the gateway to addiction. Would you do just about anything to have the pain and memory stop for just one day? Do you question if life is worth living if you have to live with this trauma day in, day out for the rest of your life? Does this sound like you? Are you completely fed up with traditional counseling, talk therapy, group work, and other treatments because nothing seems to work? Do you worry that you might never get over it and are tired of waking up in the middle of the night sweating, afraid to move and reliving the incident again and again? Do you panic when you recognize certain places, times, and things because they send you back into reliving your trauma? Or does this sound like you? Are you angry at the trauma and the world because the incident took your life off the rails instantly? Do you snap at others, feeling overwhelmed a lot, find you have been stubborn, untrusting, and feel angry or anxious a lot of the time? Do you feel alone, hurt, abandoned, or devastated because nobody understands you and what happened in your life? And finally, here's the tragedy. You're feeling like there's no hope, and you think that you have to live with all the feelings and emotions, all the fear and hurt of the memory and the pain of what happened forever. You've wanted to give up on life many times over because of it. If any of this sounds like you, I have some great news for you. Because none of those, believe it or not, are the real problem. The real problem is that no one has shared the solution with you because traditional talk therapy has its limitations. The solution is so simple. There are 5 shifts that nobody has shared with you. There are 5 shifts that you haven't made in your life. Once you make these 5 shifts, you'll close the memory file that keeps the incident front and center, no longer struggling and no longer feeling any emotional connection to it at all. You'll be able to smile at yourself and feel the love you know is inside of you. Feel like life is worth living and you are ready to live it. You'll be able to let go of the negativity, to move forward in joy, and be able to heal and find inner peace. To set yourself free. Once you make these 5 shifts, you'll wake up in the morning excited and on fire to have a good day and feel refreshed from the wonderful sleep you just had. You'll be open to having the healthy relationships you desire. Be able to tap into your passion and love because your body, mind, and soul will respond differently. And you'll find that you have more confidence, gain perspective in life, and begin to feel worthy, safe, and secure. You'll experience less stress and less anxiety. And you'll realize that your emotions no longer have control over your life. But the emotions no longer control you. You will begin moving through life without being negatively affected by those memories anymore. So let me introduce myself. My name is Rosaline Stagg, and I'm a premier trauma expert. I specialize in traumas ranging from sexual assault, addiction, physical, mental, and emotional abuse, childhood trauma, generational trauma, and energy work for over 20 years. I'm the owner of JourneyIntoWellness.com, a wellness center specializing in releasing traumas, including past and generational ones. I'm the creator of the Heartbeat Trauma Release Method, one that neutralizes the negative emotions from the trauma without you having to share anything. It's content-free. I believe anyone can recover from their specific traumatic event with a program that's right for them. I've worked with our veterans, police officers, with our medical teams, our doctors and nurses, our Indigenous, and many others who have struggled with traumas that include childhood emotional neglect, sexual assault, medical and accident traumas, abandonment, and much more. My passion is to help others to be free from trauma once and for all. You'll hear a few stories today, so I just want to expand for you what is possible when you are looking at healing your traumas and how powerful it can be for you. This is possible of anyone and everyone who is struggling with a trauma. Yes, actually any trauma that may be holding you back from being yourself, enjoying life, or experiencing healthy relationships. So let's start by discovering the 5 shifts that you don't know about. There are 5 shifts you must make to let go of a specific trauma so it never bothers you the same way again. That's right, so it no longer controls you. And I'm going to walk you through all 5 of them in this session. Your first shift: stop relying on traditional counseling. A counselor's role is to use client-centered therapy, to listen and to show understanding and empathy. Their role does not help you work through trauma. It is to just listen and see if you can work through it with your own resources. According to Psychology Today in 2018, they reported that traditional talk therapy can be damaging. They stated, research has actually found that telling your trauma is ineffective in bringing relief from the symptom of trauma and sometimes can be harmful. Brackets, re-traumatizing. So, yes, let's talk to specific trauma experts and let's not re-traumatize ourselves yet again, okay? A long-established approach to talk it through, or even by hypnotically reliving it as it happened, can be tragic. For many, sharing an experience and then having the response be harmful, negative, and devastating can lead to suicide, or it can shut you down so you lock the psychological vault, if not forever, then at least for a long, long time. However, if we don't work through our trauma, it can have ripple effects that become disruptive to our emotional well-being and life itself. Our veterans struggling with PTSD are a sad but true example of this. The more you talk about it, especially in a high state of emotion, the more it can increase the arousal to a point of overload, trapping the sensory impressions. It is actually why so-called critical incident debriefing, when disaster survivors are encouraged to talk it out, can itself be a disaster for the 25% of people who remain severely traumatized after the event. Imagine not talking about or reliving your trauma and still being able to release it. Wouldn't that be amazing? If you knew that the emotions connected to your trauma could actually be removed and you never had to share anything about it to have it done, how freeing would that be, right? Feeling your lips begin to curl up, creating a smile. Feeling warm and fuzzy. Having peace wash over you, like warm water on a beach. And knowing that your brain is rewiring itself in a healthy way because the trauma has been neutralized. If all of this was possible, would that excite you? I'm going to share one of my clients' stories. We'll call him John. His name and certain parts have been changed to preserve his privacy. John's story is tragic and for the most part started when he was 10 years old and was raped. By creating an explosive Pandora's box, John ended up first in juvie and then doing time in prison. Around 22 years of age, he was released and decided to make changes in his life. However, he was still haunted by night terrors, constant flashbacks, and was struggling with bedwetting and addiction. 3 times he tried to share his story, and 3 times he tried to take his life as a result. He came to me at 38 and was very concerned about what he might have to share. On day 1 at the center, and without sharing anything, we released the emotions connected to his sexual trauma. His first night after he was freed from it, he had his first good sleep since he was 10 years old. He is now happily married, 2 children, and is forever grateful that the trauma not only doesn't bother him, he never thinks about it anymore. It's just a passing memory that if he wants to think about it, he now needs to search for it, which he says he just doesn't do. To date, over 3 years later, he has never had another night terror and no longer wrestles with the memory. I've had many clients say that they were so terrified by their incident that they couldn't and wouldn't talk about it. Instead, many went into addictive behaviors to try and cope and to shut down or numb the emotions they weren't able to face. A focus on telling your story reflects outdated notions of how to treat it. Traumatic memories are not stored in a way that they can be talked about in a logical way. Trauma is not logical. It is subjected and filled with emotions. It actually happens when emotions become stuck to a memory. Does that make sense? Why do you keep going back to the same old if it doesn't work? Get curious and be open to a new way of releasing and healing trauma forever. I love this quote. What would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything? So let's jump into the second shift. Reclaim your health before it's too late. According to the latest research, a rocky childhood, sexual or violent assault, among others, will affect your present-day health and mental well-being. There is a direct correlation between trauma and physical health conditions such as diabetes, COPD, heart disease, cancer, and high blood pressure. That over 70% of adults in the United States have experienced some type of traumatic event at least once in their lives. That means more than 133 million Americans, 45% of the population, have one or more chronic diseases. While in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, our body goes into survival mode. 80% less blood goes to the digestive system, and 80% less to the problem-solving part of the brain. Your blood gets redirected to the arms and legs so that you can run or fight, plus to the survival brain because you feel unsafe and that you are in a life or death situation. Are you struggling with digestive disorders or pain from IBS, Crohn's, or colitis? Or do you seem to have foggy brain thinking, lack of concentration, or have a hard time remembering? Have you watched your health decline? This will continue to eat at you and just get worse if you don't release the emotions and energy attached to your trauma. Do you remember enjoying life, being free, able to go shopping, to a movie, able to hang out with friends, laughing, having fun, totally okay in the moment, no worries? Truly feeling the love and joy of being alive and recognizing how enjoyable life really is. Think about feeling your genuine smile because your life is now completely amazing. Trauma slowly eats away at you, takes away your ambition and your health, the most important resources you have. Until eventually you must make a decision to somehow take your life back or give up for good. Can you feel it slowly taking your life? You know your trauma is hurting you. It's damaging your health, your mind, your body, and is stealing your life. The third shift, trauma transcendence. Traditional methods of working through traumas don't work. They never really have, because we've always relied on talking things through or trying to bury them deep, deep within the recesses of our minds in hopes that they would just disappear. But they never do. Until now. Traditional methods don't really work because the brain can't make logic from a trauma. The emotions we need to release will keep showing up in our life to get our attention. These emotions, hurts, and pains will show up in our nightmares, broken relationships, addiction, and poor health until we get the message and let them go. I want to share another one of my clients' stories. We'll call her Trish, to not share her true identity. This now wise young woman has been in foster homes since she was 8 months old. I met her at 22, and she said she'd been placed in over 25 different homes. For the most part, she said they were fine and actually preferred them to living back and forth with her biological drug-addicted parents. When she was 12, she was attending a religious school and was being raised in a religious foster care family for over 5 years and was feeling really comfortable and loved. Then it happened. When she turned 12, there was a family cousin who had also been in care. He was 7 years older, and he raped her. She told the school when they asked what was wrong, and they in turn called her foster parents in. Instead of the foster parents believing her, they told her she was a slut and said that she had asked for it. They said she must have egged him on or teased him. The school decided to take a stand and tell her that she was no longer allowed to attend there because of what had happened. She was an outcast, thrown out by the school and also into the next foster home, but now carrying shame and guilt and a deep wound from what had happened. This 12-year-old had tried so hard to be a good girl, the girl that did good in school, the one that tried so hard to please others in her quest to be accepted. As so many people do, from that moment on, she decided to prove to her old foster home that their judgment of her, and now her own self-belief, was indeed a truth. She became a promiscuous teen that everyone said she was. She felt damaged, not good enough, and not wanted by not only her own parents, but now by the school and the foster care family she so loved. When I met her at 22, she had came to me from a lengthy stay in the hospital due to a physical injury from an abusive boyfriend and from extended drug use. She was a lovely young woman who was screaming to be set free from her traumas, pains, beliefs, and guilt. She had become like her parents, the one thing she swore she would never do. The beliefs around her wounds were so very powerful. We released the emotions surrounding the rape, and she cried tears of joy. She said she no longer felt the guilt and shame from the incident and was able to forgive and move forward. I witnessed the young girl go from sad, depressed, and so down to blossoming into a happy, smiling, and laughing young woman. It really can be that simple. Wouldn't it be worth it to be able to finally let go of your trauma? So let's take a look at the way it used to be. Yeah, the old way, where you had to talk about it and relive the trauma in full detail, where you continue to have nightmares and flashbacks, or you still feel humiliated and embarrassed, where you seemingly still carry the guilt and shame, feeling like it was your fault, and where you're trying to live with the trauma and making it your new normal. You actually continue getting emotionally hijacked by certain times, dates, smells, sounds, and events, not just by the incident anymore, but by the other sensations and emotions that the memory of it now brings up. So, how about the new way? With our proven method, you are free from the trauma in one session. You're enjoying improved, stronger, positive relationships. You're feeling safe to learn, grow, and adapt in life. You're gaining more confidence and motivation. You're beginning to move forward in life with excitement, and you're carrying beliefs that now honor you. You're changing from existing to fully living your life, exploring new possibilities, and enjoying your newfound outlook, moving forward with both freedom and excitement. Suspend your disbelief now. Open your heart and your mind to life's flow, or continue to be stuck in pain, chaos, trauma, and hurt. I truly believe you want our proven method. Am I right? The fourth shift, interweaving the golden thread. Free will is a golden thread running through the frozen matrix of fixed events. It's a powerful quote. By using your energy field, interweaving the golden thread, and thawing the frozen emotions, you then neutralize the trauma once and for all. This frees up the painful and disturbing memories, allowing the nightmares, the flashbacks, and the hurt and emotional pain to be released forever. This shift is here to present a potent transformational process that is replacing talk therapy, as it is no longer required in the field of trauma. Discovering, releasing, and understanding the shift of transcending past your trauma are the greatest gifts of this program. It's important to recognize how mental and physical health and your trauma are intrinsically connected. They all play a part in your suffering, your stress, depression, addiction, and much more. There is a reason we have a saying, sick and tired of being sick and tired. Are you finally done with being sick and tired? The fifth shift, invest in an expert. How many times have you worked with counselors in the past? Ask yourself, has it worked? Has your suffering subsided forever? Is your trauma gone once and for all? Or have you resigned yourself to being stuck in your trauma forever? Are you creating unhealthy patterns that you'll pass down to your future generations to heal? Are you ready to see these patterns repeating in your own children? Or are you actually ready to let go of the trauma once and for all, to stop the generational wounds forever? Challenge yourself to break through the obstacles that stand in the way of achieving a life free from a specific trauma. How much time, money, and heartache have you already wasted? And are you still searching for the answer? Are you finally ready to invest in a solution? Let go of your trauma forever and regain your life. So today I promise to talk about how to work through the trauma online without talking about it or being triggered into the trauma, the pain or hurt created by it. How to go from struggling, questioning, and existing in life to living and enjoying your life once again. How to take back your life and no longer be controlled by your reactions and the emotions from the trauma. Today I also promise to talk about how to release the emotions attached to the nightmares and flashbacks that may be haunting you so you can begin enjoying life again. How to recognize the beliefs you've created that hold you hostage and control you to adding new honoring ones. And lastly, how to stop repeating the patterns so that you can create the relationships and life you've always dreamed of. So truly, what you really need to understand is that these 5 shifts alone are all you need and are enough to finally give you freedom from your specific trauma. Again, what you need to understand is begin with shift number 1. Stop relying on traditional counseling and start understanding that there is another way, a new way, and it's out there and it works. Shift number 2, reclaim your health before it's too late. Start to understand how trauma affects your physical body, your mental health, and how dealing with your traumas can help heal you, your relationships, and your life. Shift number 3, trauma transcendence. Understand we must transcend past the old beliefs, the knowledge and information out there, and into the relevant research and understanding of how trauma, energy, and emotions all work together. Shift number 4, interweaving the golden thread, tying everything together to give you the freedom you desire and deserve. And the final shift, shift number 5, invest in an expert. Of course, invest in an expert who has worked in the field of trauma for many years, someone who has worked in the coaching world, the healing world, the helping world, and someone who understands energy and traumas and how to get rid of them. Someone who has trained under the world trauma experts and who has empathy and compassion for the struggles we go through in life. These 5 shifts alone are enough to finally give you freedom from any specific trauma. So, who is this for? Well, they must have experienced a specific distressing or disturbing event, a trauma, and are wanting to release the emotions from it. It's for someone who is wanting a change, knows they have a trauma, and wants something different in their life. Someone who has an unrealized trauma and believes that they have lost certain qualities of life because of it. Someone who's done with just talking about it and is really ready to explore and learn the newest way to release a trauma. And someone who is excited about finally finding the right solution. This is for you. Book a session now. Go to journeyintowellness.com/apply. How can I help? My team and I have set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak to you personally about how you can apply these methods so you're able to release your trauma immediately. Whatever your biggest challenges are, we've seen it, and we know how to help you overcome and release it. Heal your past and move past your trauma. If you have just a few more minutes, I want to share just one last client story where she has overcome her traumas. I truly honor both Christine's courage and her strength to carry on and find her freedom in life. She says she wishes to share her story and her name so you understand the power and the gift of what you're going to be using and how it changes lives. At 15 months old, Christine was rushed to the hospital and stayed in ICU for 4 months with 90% burns over her entire body. Not able to be held or even touched, she didn't understand what was going on. This created fear in her life, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, and many more. This was how her life began. Then from 7 till 10, she was raped repeatedly by 3 different men at gunpoint, creating even more fear and creating yet another belief that it must be all her fault. As a child, she tried burying these memories and didn't talk about them because they were so painful. She did not deal with them or even share them with anyone. She hid the violence away in a vault, hoping it was locked away forever. Then the violence and pain showed up one last time at 37 when she was brutally raped. This time, her body basically shut down. She could no longer cope, and all the secrets that she was unable to share burst out from her hidden subconscious storage box. This time, another lengthy stay in the hospital occurred. While hospitalized, enduring all the pain and procedures needed to take care of both the brutal attack and her body trying to shut down, she discovered morphine, the fuzzy, warm hug that she had craved so much, the nirvana she had searched for. For the next 10 years, she struggled in addiction. At 47, she slowly began facing some of her dark, terrifying traumas, dedicating herself to healing and moving forward in her journey. However, without the tools to release the emotions, she still struggled. Within minutes of releasing the emotions from the trauma, again without talking or sharing or writing down any of the memories, she felt a liberating freedom flow into her life. Some of the releases gave instant feelings of relief. She was without words, amazed, humbled, saying she could actually feel them leaving her body. She no longer struggles daily with ulcerative colitis, and today is a different woman, enjoying life and feeling free to experience it. Today, approximately 3 years later, and in her early 60s, she has just gotten her motorcycle license, free to ride, free to enjoy her life, and able to feel free. Don't wait that long if you don't have to. So how can I help? In this session, we'll work with you to develop a step-by-step plan to release the trauma, allowing the body to begin to heal. The cost of the initial consultation is absolutely free. We'll get on the phone and get you clear on 3 things: who this is for, what will be expected of you, and what you will have to invest. Now you have a choice. You can either take all the information I've given you and you can forget all about it. You can struggle with your memories, the flashbacks, the nightmares and the night terrors, the triggers, the trauma, and all of the destruction that it is causing in your life. Or, I think you know what I'm saying, right? If you're still here, you are obviously searching for the answer. Freedom by releasing your trauma is only a call away. Here's what I have for you so you can let it go and begin to start living and enjoying life again instead of just existing. This is what you've been searching for, so make the call. We're doing this because we understand how trauma hurts and what you're going through. We love helping others heal so they can achieve their goals and experience freedom from trauma. We want that for you too. And we know that you're looking for our help to release a specific trauma once and for all. So let's discuss it and see if it's a good fit for both of us. If not, that's fine too. Book your appointment with us. Go to journeyintowellness.com/apply and register to speak with one of our specialists. When you click that button, you'll be taken to our calendar page. You're going to see all the appointment times. Grab whichever one works for you. After that, you'll be taken to a really short application, 5 or 6 questions. Fill it in, and we will connect with you and be on that call with you at your chosen time. It's going to be the best call you've ever made. Book your appointment. Sign up now. Spaces are limited. Trust that little voice in your head that says, "Wouldn't it be great if?" And then do it. Follow your heart. Make the call. Take your life back.